here. And I'm already super loud. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better? Let me hear. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me see. I'm going back through my ATEM right now. It says I'm maxed out. I don't know what's up with that. All right, hold on. Let me redo my mic real quick. Hold on. All right, I am running sound through my camera now instead. I'm waiting to hear. I am running sound through my camera. All right, so I can hear it and it sounds better. So anyway, thank y'all guys. This is AJ the CEO. Thank you for stopping by. This is my normal Sunday live stream where I pretty much just go through showing you what I do behind the scenes to get all the stuff done that I do for my church, whether that be video editing, posting to our website, podcast, everything. I am live on, what am I live on? On YouTube, Periscope, if anybody's still watching that, as well as Twitch. Here again, find me everywhere at AJ the CEO, and I hope y'all had a great Sunday. I'm not going to try and drag this out. I'm actually going to be working on some other stuff as well, too. If you looked at my vlog the other day, I talked about setting up a game show using OBS. So I like that I did that, and then I had an epiphany, especially after something that happened at church today. I'm like, why don't I just use Worship Extreme to put the game questions and all that other stuff in there? Because I think we're not going to be in the chapel. We're going to be in the multi-purpose room, and it's going to be the young adults and the youth this go around. So I'm going to be, later on today in my vlog, I'm going to be setting up the whole game show stuff on my mini streaming PC, and that's what I'm going to take with me to the church to set this up. But the OBS stuff is still not lost. When we start to live stream and play against other churches, we'll still be able to use that as well. But let's get on over here and start doing some editing here for our church stuff. I am in the chat. I'm going to pop out my chat here. And actually, I need to do this on my other computer so I can see. Give me a half a second. I hope y'all had a great week. It was an interesting week to say the least. Yesterday I was having a little headache and stuff like that, so I pretty much didn't even go outside yesterday. But I'm feeling better now, and for those who sent me messages, I appreciate that. Alright, so now that I got my chat up, I'm over here, so if you have any questions on YouTube, I can see you. And we are using Restream to go to multiple places right now, so that's awesome. But anyway, let's get over here into the computer, and I guess I need to have my, since I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, make sure I got my ATEM controller here. And apps, ATEM. Alright, I think we're good now. I'm missing something. Oh, y'all can't see nothing because I have the computer linked up. Oh well, I might have to just do this the old way, which is fine, because it still works. Alright, so let's go in here. We're in DaVinci Resolve as usual. Under my database for my church stuff, we're going to go to services. Let's make a new project for today. Now I'm going to be using the new graphics that I made yesterday in that video. Church today was actually very funny, which I will actually mention today in my vlog that y'all will see tomorrow. But pretty much, my pastor came up, and he has a wireless headset that sits on his hip. And last Sunday, he didn't. It's a guard that slides up and blocks the power button, but he left it open. So when he was moving, he kept hitting it and kept turning off. So this Sunday, he came up. We put the shield up so it wouldn't hit it, but then it started popping again. Found out that it was left on, so the whole batteries pretty much lasted the whole week and just started dying in the middle of service. I went down, and I'm gonna take the video because you're gonna see it here in a second when I edit it. We went down there and changed out the batteries, gave him a wireless, and y'all can see the other part of my screen. I need to move that. That's over here somewhere. Need to fix that. But I went and gave him, went to change his batteries, took the batteries out of the wireless mic and put them in there, but he was moving around, so the mics went out for him while he was preaching maybe 5 times. So I kept going down there and getting it, and then sooner or later it was just like, man, forget it. So anyway, let's go over here to media, and I have everything in the SD card already under here, and this is today's service. I need to clean off the last week's here, and then I'm gonna go here and move everything over. This is the new resolve folder after we sorted everything out. Now it goes a little bit slower because this is on my network. It's not on my hard drive anymore. This is going to my Synology to pull everything over. So I mean, the network is more than fast enough. I have a separate network just for my computers, so it's not really touching anything else. The only thing that's coming in is the internet. All right, let's go to edit, and now we're gonna do Control N. We're gonna do full. Control N, online. All right, let's go to 2 and tab view. I'm gonna change this to full. New tab, that's online. Again, we do all our work here. Now, I did not make our new intro video yet. I'm probably gonna do that later on, but that's still with the package of stuff that we had. And I like what we have. I actually might use the one that I made yesterday and just do it in reverse because it ends with a big video or something like that. Either one. I think I'm probably going to use that as my intro. Sorry, that's my fan here. All right, so let's get started. We're going to come over here in our graphics. We're going to get our intro, outro. Gonna bring that over here. Move that up to track 2. Drag this for 1 second. And 1 second. Alright, now I'm gonna click on the clip and I'm gonna make a marker there so I know it's not on the timeline. So let's copy that whole thing. I'm gonna paste that on online, so everything's gonna be done the same. All right, so now let's go back to our main media here. Double click, and we want to find where everything begins. All right, so praise and worship was right here. So I'm gonna start it right here, and I think we ended it right at the end there, so we don't need to do that far.
To see that God cares for you. I don't want you any longer.
All right, so it's actually going to be a little bit before that.
We start looking at our...
All right, so I'm just going to take it all the way to the end, and I'll just edit it when it comes in. So let's take this clip, and we're going to drag it over here, and it will hit to the marker that we just made. And let's turn these thumbnails off. Now, he actually forgot to do the announcements, so the announcements is not in this video at all. We actually played the announcements right after the benediction. Some people got it, but most of the people missed it, so I don't know. So let's crank this audio up. My main stuff is at 50, so I think we're good. Alright, so as a whole, I think the audio is fine, and actually looking from here, that's too much. So let's back it down to maybe 5. 3? Yeah, we'll go with 3 today. Alright, so we're going to start using the new graphics that we had in here. So these are our lower thirds. And the choir is gospel chorus. Probably going to come in here one more time and change the font on here. But anyway, we're just going to scrub through the footage here, and we want to find right when the choir comes up, the main choir. This is the praise team. Just scrubbing through here, opening him. Alright, so here's the choir. So let's use their lower third here. Now this is a little bit different, so we have to modify this one. So in here, we're going to click on this, and I'm just going to fade it out instead of doing all that other stuff. So I'm going to add a dissolve here at the end. Let's zoom in some more so you can see it. And we need to resize this. So this is going to be 0.42, negative 500, negative 400. And I know those numbers because I've used this before. So we come in here and now play it. Like I said, I want to change the font in here. See, it just fades out. So I think that's fine. And now we're just gonna keep going through here and add these. Now this is all the stuff we made like in the other day when we were talking about doing new graphics. So really, it just builds on each other. Alright, we'll add pastor sales stuff in here. The minister is the exact same way, and their settings are exactly the same. So in here, we're just going to do the exact same thing. 0.42, negative 500, negative 400. Alright, so we come in here and play it. Alright, he's talking really, really low right here, so I guess I will need to do some editing in here. So let's get when the song is over. Our song's over. Let's cut it right there. And we're going to cut it all the way to here. And we just got to crank that audio up. Now tomorrow I have a media ministry meeting. So we're going to, I told them I wanted to actually do this whole thing again in front of my whole media team. Because surprisingly, they don't watch this. Don't know why. But, because I do this training at the same time. While what I'm showing y'all is what I try and train them as well too. So let's see if we can hear.
See another year. Your territory has been in.
So he's just talking low here for whatever reason. So we're gonna copy this. The choir sings again right here. We just copied and pasted that because it already has the settings. Here's another. That's actually the doxology. And pretty much all of this needs to be just updated from a sound standpoint. So this whole section, we're going to crank this up. 8, I think should be fine.
Verses 1 through 17.
Alright, so that's the choir again. So I'm just going to paste because it was still left there in memory. Alright, that part is fine. And like I said, hopefully if y'all been following along, this actually gets so much easier to do and it doesn't take as long. So that's prayer. That's the choir one more time. Paste that there for them.
Yes, I am.
All right. And so right here is about where the sermon started. So this one is going to be really interesting because there was a lot of edits. The sound went out a lot when I was talking about. So that's where the sermon started. So let's go ahead and highlight this to a different color. And like I said, I know my pastor, he starts soft, and as you can see, he ramps up. Just like this fan. This fan ramps up. All right, so in this section, I'm just going to crank up this first part. And just really trying to help ministers and whoever else, choirs, understand the importance of media. That if you don't do your music right, if you talk soft, you talk low, you know, it's kind of hard for people to hear you. The whole point is faith cometh by hearing, and hearing the word of God. If you mumbling, no one's going to know what you're talking about. So as you see, it got better throughout the entire time. So let me go back here and find his title. All right, this is his lower third here. And we're going to start it right here. So if we play that.
On the cross when you are the Son of
All right. Trying to see where I come up on here. Oh, there you go. Yeah, in the middle of service fixing the stuff. So anyway, so that was going on multiple times. So we're just going to cut over here. We're going in the middle, put that lower third again, close to the end, lower third.
I'm in the building.
All right, so I need to find exactly where it ends.
It doesn't keep.
Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so that actually ends right there. So I'm going to cut it right there, and he literally dropped the mic. All right, so let me come in here, bring my intro, outro here. On the stock. And let's bring that over here, and let's zoom in. Now, do you see that? You see how fast we got through that? I told you, it does not take that long. You just got to keep at it. You just can't mess with this once and then think it's going to just be all together. So let's play it and find the exact place where he ends. All right, so I'm going to end it right there before he drops the mic. So it's not a loud boom, which is where that mark is right there. So I'm going to drag this, and let's change this so you can't even hear that. Alright, so it ends. Boom, there you go. See, how long did that take? It didn't take long at all. Look, we've been trying to see how long I've been streaming. Been live for 22 minutes, but again, this mainly, I don't think that took longer than 10 minutes to do. So we got this whole section here. We're going to copy that, and we're going to find right where that marker is. And there we go. And we just got to fade this in. And just like that, we are done. Look at that. Look at that. What they say? Look at God. So, it doesn't, like I said, it does not take that long. Most of the time, people think it's a lot more difficult than it really needs to be. All right, so now that we got this, let's go over here to design. And we're going to first come in here, pick online. Let's pick YouTube first. We're going to do online, today's date. Now again, I could turn this on because remember, we're not uploading to Vimeo anymore except for the full service and any type of music. Everything is going directly to YouTube. So that saves me a step now. I could turn this on and have it upload to YouTube directly, but I don't think I need to do that. So we'll make the online, boom. Then we'll do the same thing. We're going to make the full. Call it that. All right, we made the two. Now we're going to come back to our online, and then we're going to pick audio only, because for whatever reason there's an issue that to my knowledge hasn't been fixed yet. When I picked audio and then I pick another template, it doesn't do the video for some strange reason. So as you see, video is not going to be exported. We're going to do audio only. Going to change this to an MP4 and do it at 128. Alright, we got this. So now we're going to click, well, let's save. We're going to click this one, let this one run itself, because this one won't take that long to do. And then we're going to come back and then render the rest of these out. Alright, so while that's going on, what I want to do is show you all the stuff that we're working on in the Bible trivia that I'm gonna be importing into Worship Extreme. That way I don't have to worry about breaking down the computer in the sanctuary, moving it over and all this other stuff. I just got to bring my own system here. So let's go over here to monitor number 2 while this is rendering out. So like I said, I made this database with all of our trivia questions. Bible trivia. Alright, so this is just it's the top 1,000, but I only have 446 questions in here right now. So these are all of our questions and the difficulty and all this other fun stuff. Now this might be outside of what I was going to talk about, but hey, actually I had people asking me about this, so that's the reason why I talk about it. This content is driven based off of what y'all say. So if you have people have asked difficulty of doing all this other stuff, hey, I'm going to show you. All right, so I made this procedure here. It's called get questions. So we're going to come in here. I had an attribute, but I made it to where when you run this, it's going to make all the questions for all 5 rounds, 4 questions 5 times. So when it comes in here, it sets a variable for the current round, the count, so we knows how many questions it needs to do, the ID. This is every question has an ID. I store that so I know that I have not used that question before. And then I have a hash, which is just a fancy way of saying that this is the date that I picked these questions, so the questions are different. All right. Questions used is the table I was talking about. It'll keep populating over and over again, and it'll show which questions I did and did not use, so that way we don't repeat it, because we're going to keep adding questions. So if I run this, as you can see, I've used 40 questions. So none of these questions are going to be pulled again every time I run this. All right, so it creates a hash based on today's date, and that's the stamp that goes with all my questions. That's how I know I won't repeat those. So we're going to say we're going to set it to round 1, and while round 1, the round is less than 6, it's going to keep looping. So it's going to set counter to 1, and then it's going to loop again for 5. So get a question, insert it, and then it increments the counter to 2, loop it again, question 3, question 4, question 5. Once it gets to 5, and then it goes to 6, it ends this whole loop, ends this loop, then it goes to changes the round to round 2, and then it starts this all over again. It sets the count back to 1, loops again for 4 questions. In round 3, loop, makes the questions round 4, round 5. Then it does all that and inserts it into questions used as well as game questions, and then it show me all the game questions with the current ID. That's how it spits everything out. So if I happen to run this, well, I can just let me do this here. Execute. That's a comment out, so nobody can see that command. It won't ignore that command, so I can just run it right now. And boom, now it just picked new questions for an entire game. And none of these questions have been used before. So if I run this again, because that's ID. So if I run this again, that's the last question. Let's run the command again. I can't really run it because actually it's picking today's date. So that's why it was so many questions. I need to probably add something in here. The idea is you pick it once, you don't run it back to back. So if I come in here for the second round, which is here down, because that was the same last question. Let's see, and now there's the last question for the second round that I picked. I probably could have did another date and time. Oh well, I'll come back to that anyway. So that's what will happen. But the thought is now I'm gonna take these questions and answers, and I don't know why I didn't think about this, but put this into Worship Extreme, and just like a song, I would just take all the questions, put them there, and I mean I could do this in PowerPoint. There's a bunch of ways, but I'm gonna do it in Worship Extreme because I think that would be easier for right now. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna move these questions over. So now, with that being said, I think that was enough stalling because our the stuff is over. So now our podcast is done. Now I'm gonna click these two and let it start rendering out the actual video. So this is the intro that I'm gonna change out with a new one. All right, so we're back over here, and we're gonna go to Wooshka. And now we're gonna upload our new podcast. And I actually made a image of everything. I made a new thumbnail here. So let's go ahead and download this for right now. I actually need to make a better picture because this was kind of far away from the shot. But I'll always come back in here and modify that. All right, so all we're gonna do is come in here to episodes. And this is the same way how Everyday Christian, when I start doing this, this is how this is gonna be done as well. Create episode. Let's find the file that we just made, which is on my E drive. Right here. Let that upload, and now we're gonna pull all the stuff that we did on our spreadsheet, which again I think is still in the description. If not, I'll make sure I add that as well. Just a way of tracking your sermons if you're not already using it already. All right, so it was called Be Optimistic. Today's dates, scripture, and change that to bold. Boom. And it already finished uploading. So yay. This is clean. URL, I'm not adding that. And we'll just do create. So our podcast is done. Look how fast that was. So I've been adding a bunch of people, showing people at church how to get to the podcast. So now when it uploads, they will get access to all of that stuff automatically. And we can always go here just to verify what's the last stuff that was here. This is Spotify. So again, see, that was last week's. There's our stuff there. And I'm excited because my stuff is going to be here pretty soon. Yay. And then what's the other one we're looking at? We can go to, I don't want to bring up iTunes, so let's go to Google Play. And we're going to go to podcasts. And again, so last week's was there. As you can see, it's built out. So when the new sermon pops up, when it updates, it'll be there. Really simple. And I think that's mainly it. Like I said, this is one of those things that if you have questions, I want to walk through with y'all. If you want to do this at the same time, or at least see how I'm doing it. So honestly, as you can see, it's rendering. It's at 20%. I got about 13 minutes left. And then it's going to go to round 2. the second video. Now, technically, if I wasn't live streaming, I could actually have my other computer that's over here to my side. I'm pointing here to y'all. But actually it is on the side of me, to my left. That's live streaming right now. I could have DaVinci Resolve coming up here and render the other one at the same time, and it would go even faster. But if I wasn't live streaming, I would do that. But obviously I'm doing this so y'all can see what's going on. What else I got? So like I said, that's what's going on. See, he hit the mic again. I'm gonna be just working on Worship Extreme, and I don't think I have it set up to where y'all can see that, because I switched over everything to NDI, so I can't bring up that screen right now, because my camera's hooked directly to my live stream computer. There's your boy. But I think that's about it. Check me out on our Facebook group, because we're trying to get some more interaction in there so we can talk and see what everybody's going on. And I'll try and bring a little tips here. Like I think last week we showed how to set up a button for your YouTube channel. That's on there. You can always get there if you want to. The link is in the description on how to join that. We're just building a community of media ministry folks to where we can just help out and show what are good budget ways to get stuff done, or even high dollar solutions if your budget is there. But mainly we just want to bring all of the churches to raise the bar for everybody else, so that, because media technology, that's where everybody's going, and there's no point in hiding from it. We just want to share so that it makes it easy for anybody else to come in and use it as well. So you don't have to be intimidated. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to do anything like that. It's more of, we just want to show you and give you tips on what I've been doing at my media ministry, as well as any others interaction. That's the community that we are building. So again, thank y'all for stopping by. This was really short in comparison to what I normally do, but like I said, the more you do this, the easier it gets. And I also had one of our new people I talked about came up. I actually had to pull her up there to work in the media booth today, which was really simple. She was like, oh, wow, this is really easy. So looking forward to tomorrow. We have our media ministry meeting, and we'll see what else we can get into. This is AJ. If you like this type of content, I appreciate a like. Consider subscribing and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other great videos, as well as vlog and training and all this other fun stuff. So anyway, we will see you tomorrow. Later, folks.